Hey everyone, welcome to the L Spot Show. This is Camille Jay, your host.
And I'm Angela Yvonne.
I'm Jameer Pond.
And we have a real hot and sexy episode for you guys today.
Yes,
we're going to be joined by special guest, the host of Sex Talk with AK. And we're going to be talking about being comfortable with yourself in the bedroom, being comfortable with your partner, and a whole bunch more. So you're going to want to stay tuned for this. Of course, Angela Yvonne is going to give us the hot and juicy entertainment fix.
Juicy.
Right. This is the L Spot Show.
Reclaiming my time, taking what's mine. Now watch me work. Light, camera, action. Now watch me work. Light, camera, action.
All right, thanks for tuning into the L Spot Show, everyone. We have our special guest with us, AK, the host of Sex Talk with AK. So, it's going to be a hot and juicy episode today. So
Yes, it is.
How'd
It
you
is.
even get into diving into this navigation, this road for you?
So I always was just the one out of my friends who would always sit there and be like, oh, let's talk about sex. Every conversation that we had, it was about sex. Like, are you doing this? Are you not doing this? Like, what's going on? What are you doing in your bedroom? And then I started realizing, like, through my own experiences, like, people felt comfortable enough coming to me and being like, hey, like, what should I do in this situation and everything like that. So my degree from college is in applied psychology. So I had always wondered, like, what do I want to do? Like, so I sat in a human sexuality class, and, like, I remember one day I went home and I was like, to my parents, I'm like, I know what I want to do. Like, and they were like, what? And I was like, I want to be a sex therapist. So, like, the first response I got was like, oh. Oh. Okay. Like, it was... So, just more so recently, I'm having these conversations. I'm talking about this on a podcast that I was doing before. I'm like, why not start putting it on my Instagram and seeing how people react to it? Let's have these conversations. Let's have healthy conversations, but in like a calm, laid back, like how everybody talks regularly kind of way. And I've just been getting good feedback from it. So then I started my new show. So my new show, Sex Talk with AK, and then we just have these conversations. So it's cool.
So I've seen I know your show came out a few weeks ago, and I've seen that you have everyone in the bed with you. And
Yes.
it looks already hot and heavy from just there. So how'd you get that idea?
I still don't know. Like, I'm still sitting here thinking, like, when did this come to me and how did it happen? But I think it's, like, one of the best ideas I ever had, because I'm like, you need something catchy. Like, you need people to be like, oh, wait, she's in lingerie, she's in bed with people, like,
Yeah.
not just one person, and they're talking about sex freely. Like, feel free to say whatever the heck you want to say, just, like, and we're going to have that conversation. So it was cool. And at first it's kind of awkward because you're like, hey, how you doing? You ready for this interview? Oh, you're dressed. You're kind of naked. That's cool. Like, let's do this. Like, so, I mean, plenty of people have seen my butt at this point.
All right.
So being a sex therapist, like what level are you trying to do? Because are you just dealing with the psychology of it, or are you dealing with the touch of it? What part of...
So my goal is just like to become that sex therapist that you see on TV and like deal more with the psychological aspects of everything. So I do want to have my own practice later on in life. So in New York and then one in Houston. But I just have schooling left to do now at this point. So.
Right. I always find it endearing and liberating when I see there's women who are sexually liberated and are freely speaking about sex. Have you found that some of your friends or women who you speak to, they have a hard time expressing themselves sexually because they don't want to be seen as a hoe or a thot or anything like that? Quote unquote, of course. I'm not calling them thots, but you know,
Thank you.
Society-wise, when women are sexually liberated, sometimes they get these tags and stigmas attached to them.
I think that what I've been seeing more so recently, especially nowadays, is like women are talking more about sex, and it's like I see guys reacting like, whoa, what the heck is going on? Why do they feel so comfortable saying these things? And I'm like, we've been thinking this for a while now. But the one thing I've noticed is my friends are not like me. They're not like me at all. Completely different people. Like, and everybody's so shocked. And I'm like, no, they're not. Like, I'm the wild one. I'm the one who brings up the topics and the conversations. But, like, I've noticed recently that they are having these conversations. Like, they're initiating it or coming to me even more. So.
Yeah. And I know growing up in, like, an African-American or Latina household, even in America, it's almost like a stigma's put on sex itself or dealing with a person of the opposite sex. and even getting into that realm. So sometimes it's hard by the time we are adults to now feel comfortable with it. We don't know so much about it. We only know what we tried to do or what we heard our friends and stuff were doing. So how important is it that you think we should make the conversation more normal, especially for people that are a little younger, learning about it before it's time to actually get into it and do it?
That's the biggest thing I focus on the most. Like, I was reading a book, I cannot remember the name right now.
It's okay.
But it was saying, like, the conversations that you have in the home first are the way that people go on to live their lives. So if you have that conversation and you're like, don't have sex, don't do this is nasty, this is bad, then it's like, okay, cool. Like, you say that at that moment, but when the person gets older and they start engaging in sexual activities, it's going to be like, oh no, this is something bad. I'm supposed to shy away from this. Whereas, like, my sex talk, it was strange. It was strange as heck. But, like, my auntie, she came to me one day and she's like, I know you're having sex. I was like, no, I'm not. I definitely was. And she
You're
was
right.
like,
How'd you figure
I'm
it out?
like, no, I'm not doing that. Sex is bad. We don't do that here. And so she told me, she was like, sex isn't bad. She's like, sex is good. You're going to enjoy it. She was like, you're going to have a good time with it. She's like, but what I want you to do is to be safe. So my sex conversation, my sex talk wasn't, oh, don't have sex, sex is bad for you. It was more so protect yourself. Here's how to protect yourself. And here's what happens if you don't protect yourself, which was followed by a whole book of pictures and all that good stuff, which stuck with me because you're like, all right, cool. I don't feel so guilty doing what I'm already doing anyway. Like, it's kind of like you got to pass, but you're still kind of sneaky because I was still putting up the front, like, nah, I'm not doing this. It's like, but my family, they're very open, like, there's so many sexual jokes that happen in my family, like, because we're all women, basically. So it's like, it's easy. It's an easy conversation, but I do have friends who have come from households where it's like, no, don't do that. Like, that's not good. And you see how it affects their sexual lives.
Yeah, and I think it can affect communicating with your partner when it is time to enjoy it for real.
Yeah.
You're not sure what to enjoy or how to enjoy it because you spent all these years afraid to talk about it with your friends or afraid to talk about it with your parents, afraid to get knowledge from people who actually have the knowledge.
That's absolutely true.
And communication is so key when you're in the bedroom. Like, people don't know how to do it.
So speaking of communication, what would you say would be the best way to get that conversation started? Not as in for someone who is younger, but someone who is, older. Because once we get out of the house, we were having a conversation that you're only as good as your last partner. So what would you say to someone who is wanting to be a little bit more sexually liberated and not knowing the proper verbiage?
I actually wrote an article about this. One of my tricks that I do is, like, you know how you're always in that texting stage, what's your favorite color, what do you like, what don't you like? I feel like once I start realizing, like, okay, this is the person I might want to engage in sexual activities with, I'm like, all right, let's have this conversation. What do you like? What don't you like? Granted, I feel like everybody goes in the bedroom and they do their first time routine where it's like, I know I'm going to do this, I'm going to stick to this, see if it switches.
This is what works. This is what works.
We all got that trick that we're just like, all right, cool, like, this is my routine, I'm going to throw it out there and see what happens. But at least you know going into it, like, all right, this person is into this. Am I into this or am I not? Or will I be open to being into this later on, or like not give it the first time, but maybe the 10th time? Like, I'm like, all right, cool. Remember that thing you mentioned to me back then in the text messages when I was just finding out your favorite color and your favorite position? Like,
we doing that tonight.
Let's try
Let's do it now.
Setting
it off. Get ready.
And then just have the conversation in the bedroom, or maybe show them, like, what I'll do sometimes is, like, I'll show you, like, what I like. Or I'm very verbal in the bedroom. I'm like, nope, don't like that. You're doing this wrong. Do you mind if I show you how I like this done to me?
Perfect.
And the best question that I've ever had asked to me was, like, before I engaged in sex with this person, they were like, how do you like to be pleased? And my mind was blown. Like, I had never been asked that before. I was like, what? Like, what am I supposed to say to this? And I'm like, just do whatever. I'm going to tell you what I don't like.
So can I just ask a question before we wrap up? Very quickly, because I think sometimes for men, it's kind of like, it hurts our egos to be told that we're not doing something right. So I just want to go around quickly. What are some things that you've had to help your partner adjust to in the bedroom?
Head is the biggest one. Like, when, Like when you're getting eaten out and like guys are just all over the place and you're
I was
like,
just talking about. Didn't one
Yeah,
of
they talk about that.
you're
Let's talk about
like,
it.
you're like, focus
I
here.
just-
Here
yeah.
is the clitoris for those
I
being
know I'm doing the
official.
right thing. You see
I'm
that?
like, focus here. I don't like this. I do like this. But I've had a moment like that where it was kind of like a first time kind of thing.
Right.
And he was like sitting here and I'm like, I know you want to be great. Like I can feel you want to be great.
The
But I'm
effort
like,
is there.
but you're not hitting the right spots. So I
told you.
stopped him and I was just like, can we do this? Like, and he was like, yeah. And then he did it. It was good. And then afterwards he was like, no, I really thank you for showing me this. Because I'm sitting here, I'm like, there's so many women that he's probably done this to that did not sit there and correct him and say,
Right.
hey, I'm not enjoying this. So now you're sitting here like, oh yeah, that was trash. When you could
We
have
coulda
just
helped him.
explained
We
to
coulda-
him,
Young
like,
king, let me
You
guide you.
saved that man. You saved that man.
Right.
He's
Out here
out
just
there
doing
watching.
everything right.
I
Like,
hope he's thanking you right now. But we are going to have to take a break. We're going to have a word from our sponsor. Angela's going to give us that juicy entertainment fix. And I think AK has a special box that she wants us to
Yes.
dive into. So make sure you guys stay tuned.
This is your Entertainment Fix, the Sex Edition. But first, we're grown, and if you're under 18, you should either be in the bed or at school. Now back to the 21 and over crowd. Eroticism is a sexual desire or excitement, and that can be done in many ways. It's really important to include your partner in the little things that may excite you. Let's make a day of it. A little couples massage, maybe a sex class. We could all learn something new. Remember, you're only as good as your last partner. What about movies? Sometimes it's all about the delivery and not about what you're going to eat. There are definitely levels to this. What do these words mean to you? Vanilla, kink, fetish? Let's break it all down. Vanilla. This is the typical way we all started before we knew better. It's the plain Jane of sex. Missionary. Some may say it's boring, but this way is how you can actually connect to your mate and get what we all came here for, that standing O. Kink. Now this is where it starts to get to exploring what you like. A little bit of pain mixed with pleasure, BDSM, bondage and discipline, domination and submission can really step it up. Tying your partner up, blocking one's senses can make other senses really strong. Blindfolds and role-playing with the art of consent, asking your mate what he or she likes, or getting permission. A little Simon Says with a little adult twist. Fetish. Imagine being aroused by an object that isn't normally sexy, but in some way or fashion, it turns you on, like high heels on your man. Your woman wanting to wear your Timbs in bed. And can you believe that some people are turned on by the bodily odor? Maybe a little musk, but not too mussy. Well, what are some of your turn-ons? And what are you willing to try? Are you inspired to go to the next level? Let's keep the combo going. Follow us at the hashtag #TheLSpotShow. I'm Angela Yvonne. Make sure you follow me at entertainment_fix and absolutely Angela Yvonne, and keep it sexy.
Well, we are back and we have some tasty questions to be asking Miss AK. And we're going to get started. Don't clutch your pearls. So, Miss AK,
yes.
what would you say to someone who has never bought a toy? I'm asking for a friend.
A friend.
A friend.
So at first, like when it came to toys, I was like super petrified. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is not the real thing. It's plastic. Once I got into toys, I was like, oh my gosh, this is for me. I love it. So I would always suggest like starting small. Like don't go super ginormous, like 12-inch this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like nothing too crazy, nothing too intimidating. So they do have like vibrators called the Bullet. So the Bullet is like about yay big or so. They come in like little sizes, and it's more just for like clitoral stimulation. So it's not anything that will penetrate you or anything like that. So I always found that to be like an easy beginner toy, especially for people who are like virgins and stuff like that. They also have a line of like toys that are for people who are virgins, so they don't feel like you know, if they're losing their virginity to a toy as well. Then you have like other toys like the bunny, and those are the ones that like do penetrate as well as giving you clitoral stimulation at the same time. And there's just so many different types of toys.
What about toys like with your partner?
Okay, so I mean, that is always an interesting conversation, always an interesting topic. The way that I've brought it up in the past is like, yeah, I have this toy, like, you know, like, or maybe I'll just send a video or something, or show a picture of the toy, and I'm like, yeah, this is what I'm about to do, and then just see how they react to that.
But there's also toys that your partner could use that could be helpful for both people, right?
So they have like C rings or cock rings and stuff. So what that is, they say that cock rings are really good because it stops like the blood flow circulation, so it makes your partner last longer, as well as they have ones that have vibrators on them. So it's like you're getting that stimulation as well. Like, so I think that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, 2 people.
Now I wanted to ask a question about pornography or porn,
Okay.
as some would say. When it comes to porn and being in the bedroom, do you find that people who watch porn become over-sexualized when it comes to the bedroom? Does it take the romance out of it? Because I'm sure, even though you're very sexually liberated, you still like your little romance.
Yeah.
You know? So what do you find in contrast to people who watch porn and people who don't really watch?
Well, I've never had a partner pull up with 10 boots on and 2 socks.
And a fitted. And the tail hanging out.
So I'm pretty happy.
Gear.
I'm pretty happy that's never happened.
Okay.
But I definitely think that it's affected the way that people go into the bedroom because they're like, oh, I saw this, I'm about to try it.
Yeah.
But maybe you might see something different, like a new position, and you're like, you know what I saw last night, I'm going to test it out real quick, see what happens. So it does play a part. I've never seen it play a negative part in my life just yet. So.
Alabama crab dangle. Look it up.
Alabama what?
Alabama crab dangle. Alabama crab
Is that a
dangle.
position?
It'll change your life.
You know
Child.
what?
Child.
I am about to Google
Do your
this.
Google.
Do your Google.
Alabama crab.
On the crab dangle.
Oh my God.
See, I stumped her. Look, see?
I'm about to Google this so bad. Like, what is the Alabama crab
They
day?
had to come in Alabama. Right? Had to.
But I definitely think that porn like kind of opens up your mind to other things, like different fantasies or stuff that you might want to play out. Like, you know, like they say like majority of women watch girl on girl porn, even though they aren't identifying as such, or they're not interested in women. But you never know where that might take you or where your curiosity might lead you into. So yeah.
Can I ask about bringing another person into the bedroom?
I love this
with
topic.
like with your partner? Like I know
Like a
it's
threesome?
like a threesome, or foursome, or you know whatever you're into,
Or a group sum.
or a group sum.
Wow.
It's some both y'all.
Doesn't that go into orgy status?
It
Yeah.
can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
A party.
I
I was
found
just
that
asking for a friend.
people again, your friend,
Yes.
smedge
I
on.
have so much knowledge to give back to her.
Yeah. But like when bringing, I don't know if it's an appropriate way to ask, but I don't know if you've been in a situation where it's been, okay, well, there you go.
Spit it out, Jameer. We want to know.
I definitely have.
Spit
What
it
do you
out.
want to know?
I want to know, how should you bring that to your partner? Because some people, I feel like, just off limits with it.
Right.
Yeah.
And,
So I have some do's and don'ts when it comes to threesomes or group sex or anything like that. I think that sometimes a lot of people think like, oh, I'm prepared for this. I can do this. And they're not really being true to themselves.
Yeah.
The one thing that I've learned when it comes to threesomes is you got to be a cheerleader. Like, I say this all the time. You have to be a cheerleader. You have to be okay with seeing your partner receive pleasure from somebody else, knowing that that's not you, and still feeling comfortable enough to be like, yes, girl, you got this. Do that. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
like,
yeah.
to really cheer them on. And it takes a strong person to do it. Because the first time I had the first time I had a threesome, it was like, I was like, I got upset. I walked out.
Yeah.
I walked out. And then I was like, let me be real with myself. Is this something I want to continue doing? And like the next time I went in, it was different because I was like, I've seen this happen before.
Yeah.
You gotta like, you're not like really attaching yourself from the situation, but you're understanding like this is just pleasure. Like, and you have to. I'm the type of person who receives pleasure out of seeing other people being pleased.
Me too.
So if I could sit there and look at it unselfishly and say, oh, my partner's being pleased right now, I'm okay with that, then it's like, you're looking at it differently. But
And I
you
guess
can't be jealous.
You
So-
could like set rules or
Yeah.
boundaries like this is acceptable, but maybe
So-
this ain't.
Like no kissing. And
So where are you hiding the bodies? Because I just want to know where you're hiding the bodies.
Cause you want to kill somebody.
Somebody.
That's all I need to know. And again, I'm asking for a friend because
It's you.
I don't think that I could be that open to see, unless she's somebody that you don't know, like y'all are out in Jamaica somewhere and was like, oh, she's cute or he's cute.
Yeah.
I can go and do that. But if it's like we in Brooklyn and I'm at the bodega, she's asking me about the buns, I look and I say, oh,
She asked me about the
I
bus.
can't do it.
I cannot.
Can't do it.
I want to get into this box though.
Yes.
I just want to get into this box.
Right? This box here. Okay?
That box.
This box.
So on my show with Sex Talk with AK, I have a segment called Dive Into My Pink Box. In my pink box, I have a whole bunch of sex questions. If you guys are on my show with me, normally we would do this as a drinking game. But today, we're just going to dive into the pink box and answer these
Okay.
questions.
Yes.
Ladies
right.
first, by the way. Boom.
Wow.
You gonna slide this box all
Slide
the
the
way
box.
over.
Slide the box.
Hold my card.
There you go.
Okay.
You gotta answer a question too.
I'll answer one.
Okay.
Ooh, okay.
Pick a good one now.
I'm trying.
Get all into the box.
Okay.
Get
Feel
all
all
in
in
the
that
box.
All right.
Take the box.
Take the box.
If you had to pick, would you be a sub or a dom?
That's you.
I would be a dominatrix
Nice.
The way she said it too.
And why?
Why?
because of the control factor.
I
Okay.
like to be in control.
Nice.
Yes.
We shouldn't put this back in, right?
I'll take
Okay.
Yes.
So just hold it. All right. There
Shake
you
mine a
go.
little bit.
That was honest. It wasn't for your friend this time.
Nope.
There
Because in these last 3 minutes, I've become grown.
you
Oh,
go.
I like to hear that.
There you go.
You got a little feather with yours too.
All right. If you could have one type of sex for the rest of your life, what would it be? Oral, anal, or regular? I would say regular, I guess with me on top. Is that regular? That's my
No.
regular.
So we're just talking about
Me
like
on top.
vaginal or oral
Vaginal.
or
Me
anal.
on top of him.
Vaginally.
Vaginally.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. All right, y'all.
When you're on top, you could be in control. You could like,
On top is my favorite position
Yeah, you
to
could,
be
like-
on.
Y'all just like to be, y'all are control freaks. That's what it is. All three of y'all control freaks. All right.
A guaranteed pleasure on
Yeah,
top.
I
I think.
think I put my back in the box.
Oh, I have
I
mine.
it.
Okay.
Here we go. Okay. Boom. All right. Have you ever had anal sex? How did you feel about it? Well, I actually never had anal sex. Never tried it.
Okay.
I just,
It's
you know
okay.
what?
How do you
How do
feel,
you feel
about
about
it? Are
it?
you open to it or?
I'm not, I don't think I'm there yet. I'm still, I'm still getting in these good years with vaginal sex. Vaginal sex has never been bad for me. So,
Has it steered
Wait.
you wrong?
I'm sorry. I think my brain was in the wrong side. Are you talking? We're talking about you being in the vagina or you being in the ass, or
No.
someone in your ass?
no, I've never
No,
had
you didn't
anal
mean
sex.
Yeah.
Nothing. I've never done that either. But I've also never given anal
No
sex.
finger, no
Oh,
analingus.
wait,
Nothing like that?
like just.
Yeah, like a little thumb.
Oh, is that
No, we're just, that's not the question, but
Oh.
we just
I wanna know more.
Oh, okay.
against it. I'm like, let me steer this question.
No,
and see.
I'm not against it per se. I never was interested in trying it, but there's been, just a little tap. There you go.
Drum action.
Slap in the face,
But, okay, quick question more.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
about
ain't
them
nobody-
doing it to you?
Never.
Like
never.
a little thing.
I never wanted that.
You
So,
never.
Okay.
never wanted that.
That is
Explore the world a little bit.
Explore the so.
I just heard that it was kind of interesting for guys.
No, that's the male G spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've never tried it.
I'm collecting all the.
Yes.
Okay, so have you ever said someone else's name during sex?
Damn.
Oh, AK.
I was close. It started coming out. I was like, oh, it's like
Oh.
throw a moan in there, right there. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, save the
Oh,
day, throw
yeah.
a moan. Like, I was like, wow, this would be really, really bad. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't believe I did this. I almost did it.
Almost
yeah.
did it. That's
Scary.
You need mind control at that point.
Yeah.
Like, yo, think something else.
I
Think
was like, what am I
something
doing?
else.
What am I doing?
It was like automatic, just shut down. Just
Wow.
That's
Well,
funny.
this has been a life-changing episode.
She grown
And that,
now.
I'm grown now, honey. A grown woman, Beyonce.
That's
That pink box is everything. But
Thank
tell
you.
us, tell our viewers how they can
Watch the show. Yeah.
Watch the show.
You guys can find me on Instagram at Sex Talk with AK. You can also find me on YouTube under Sex Talk with AK. That's where all of my episodes will be, my sex tips and tricks, and also my toy reviews.
Yeah, you may find us in the bed over there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be in the bed
Well,
with AK.
you guys stay tuned.
So thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the L Spot Show. It got a little hot and
Yes, it
steamy
did.
over here. Because Jameer's holding on to the pink box,
I'm
all
petting
right?
the
But guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Camille Jay.
I'm Angela Yvonne. Make sure you follow me at absolutely Angela Yvonne and entertainment_fix for everything entertaining.
That's right. Go to her. Everything. All right. My name is Jameer Pond. You can follow me at It's Jameer, ITSJAMEER on Twitter and Instagram. Ladies, if you're over 40 and feeling frisky, always follow me on Facebook because I know you're there.
With your very white voice.
Hey.
Ooh, baby.
Thank you guys. It's girl Camille J. You can follow me, Camille J_. And thanks for tuning in. Make sure you keep tuning in to the L Spot Show. You can network and be recognized and learn a few sex tips too. All right?
Yeah.
All right.
I can't believe where I'm at now. I dreamt about this for a while. I knew I'd be a superstar. Didn't think I was gonna make it far. Been through trials and tribulations. Almost lost faith, thought I wouldn't make it. But my God is the greatest. And now it's my time to shine and be fearless. Now it's my time to shine and be fearless. Now it's my time to shine and be fearless. And be fearless. I'm claiming my time. And be fearless. Taking what's mine. And be fearless. Now watch me work. Light, camera, action. Now watch me work. Light, camera, action. Now watch me work. Light, camera, action. Now watch me work.
It's time to make a movie, y'all. Camille Jay, I'm a star, I shine way brighter. Everything lit, yo, they calling me a lighter. Came out swinging cause I'm born to be a fighter. Gifted with the words, so I'm known to be a writer. I done came a long way. Trip to the top and I came here to stay. Ain't worried about y'all cause today I'm feeling fearless. If you ain't showing love, I can care less. I can move through a crowd with a smile on. Got a bank full of money I can pile on. So it's lights, cameras, flash cause I'm here. Net worth bringing in a new year. Hands up, everybody celebrate. Only making big moves like a heavyweight. Flawless, how we rockin' the jewels. Front page of the time if you talking the news, you heard?
Now watch me work. Light, camera, action. Now watch me work. Light, camera, action. Now watch me work. Light, camera, action. Now watch me work. To shine and be fearless. Now it's my time to